so much for taking the time to be with us today. My name's Elisha Herrick-Blaine. I'm with the National League of Cities. We're a member-based organization in Washington, D.C. We're proud to have the City of Hattiesburg as a member of ours. We help cities build stronger communities and provide research, technical assistance, and advocacy for cities in D.C. And I lead our work on veterans issues on behalf of the National League. And as part of our work is made possible thanks to the support of the Home Depot Foundation. And we have been coming down here working with the community of Hattiesburg for the past 2 years to ensure that veterans in this community have access to rehabilitated homes that will allow them to age safely in place. And we are so proud of the work that's been happening here in Hattiesburg and really find it to be a national example of what communities across the country need to be doing in order to ensure that all veterans have a safe place to call home. Really, Hattiesburg has been the shining example of what needs to be happening across the country, and we're proud to use our platform as a national organization with over 2,000 city members across the country to really elevate the story of what is happening here in Hattiesburg and what will be happening here in Hattiesburg to sustain this work moving forward. The Perrys are the most recent veteran couple that we are proud to have been able to help over these last 2 years. As a result of the partnership formed here, we've been able to help more than half a dozen veteran households across Hattiesburg. Thanks to the support of a lot of the people that you see here, Mayor Barker, the Greater Hattiesburg Home Builders Association member Premier Homes, Lee Everett, R3SM, the Executive Director Mavis Cree, and Purple Heart Homes. Their chapter, Vice President of Chapters, Tim Mangum, who I'll introduce in just a moment, has really helped bring all of this together. And tomorrow we'll be having a chapter formation meeting where we are looking to form a Purple Heart Homes chapter here in Hattiesburg that can carry this work moving forward. For the last 2 years, it has been our work at the National League with Purple Heart Homes and all of these community partners that have really enabled this to happen. What we really recognize, though, is that it is the individual communities that have to come together to figure out how to make this happen in a sustained way, to find the resources and the veterans, and to make these projects happen. And so tomorrow morning from 8:30 to 9:30 at the Jackie Dole Sherrill Center, we'll have that chapter formation meeting, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. For now, I'd like to introduce Tim Mangum, Vice President of Chapters for Purple Heart Homes.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Mostly you. I'm taking care of you. You took care of us. You're a Vietnam veteran. You took care of this country, and it's something really to be said about. At the end of the day, Purple Heart Homes was created by Dale Beatty and John Galena back in 2008, so we're a decade old now. Those two gentlemen were soldiers in Iraq in 2004, doing normal soldier stuff, and the last mission, getting ready to deploy home, they hit 2 Chinese anti-tank mines and blew up. So Dale immediately lost both legs, became a service-connected disabled veteran, and John got his bell rung pretty bad and some other things. A couple other folks wounded. Once they recovered and got home, Dale found himself in a position where he struggled to get around in his own home. Couldn't get his wheelchair through his own doors, couldn't get the counter up, couldn't get through, he had a tub, things like that. They connected to not only take care of him right there, that's where John stepped up to do, but to do that for other veterans, service-connected disabled veterans out there across the country that need help. So they created Purple Heart Homes 10 years ago. So that's where they are and what they're doing to try to go down to help out others. So it is national, and we try to help out. I've got veterans all around, some that I've never even met. I'm glad to have met Jasper down here and everything. But what we're trying to do in the future is create chapters all throughout our nation so that people in their own town, like the town of Hattiesburg, you know your folks, you know your area, you know service-connected disabled veterans, and can help them out. So it's a 501c3. People donate funding. That funding turns around and goes and helps out those. It's not about making money and doing all that stuff. At the end of the day, we want to maneuver chapters across our whole nation, ultimately. So to hear Hattiesburg standing up to do such, is a great thing, and I'm very motivated. Just to give you an idea, I've just now become part of this organization. I've been doing corporate stuff for years, but what you don't know is that Dale Beatty and John Galena were actually my soldiers. So I was their commander for some time. So when they got wounded, that was a big ouch for me. And just this last year in February, Dale Beatty, the co-creator, passed away. He just died. And so it's another incredible crush for us. But his goal and John's goal is to continue mission. Keep doing it. Keep taking care of those that may not be able to take care of themselves. So that's the motivation there, and that's what we're trying to do. So when we hear folks like Hattiesburg want to stand up, it's wonderful. It's a big thank you. And so that's why we're here. That's why we're going to continue that mission and do that. So really appreciate you all coming out and seeing and hearing from us. And if you want to hear about chapter stuff tomorrow, I'll go into greater detail. But what I will say is the young lady that is individually going to step up to run it here in Hattiesburg is Mavis, who I introduced, and you can come right on up and talk about it.
Thank everyone for coming out today, and most definitely we're grateful to have worked with the Perrys. A lot of times we see military families are often forgotten, not heard, and with the work that we do with R3SM, mainly we do disaster recovery, but also we do affordable housing and deferred maintenance. But a lot of times we have seen some veterans that have rose up that have additional needs. For the past 2 years, we have partnered with the Purple Heart Homes since the tornado, and did assist with getting some repairs done for some veteran families. And one of the main things that I took away from the last person that we assisted, Mr. Carpenter, was he thought nobody cared about him. He, when we met him, he was very standoffish. He did not really understand everything that's going on with the process. So by us assisting and caring and, going the extra mile with the people that we're working with, a lot of times it gives them a renewed hope, a renewed faith in their community. And that's so important. We see the finished products of the repairs, of the work, but a lot of times we don't get a chance to see and to account for the relationships that are being built with those families that we're touching. So R3SM is very thankful and grateful to partner with Purple Heart Homes to start a chapter here in Hattiesburg. I come from a military background. My grandfather, all of my uncles did serve in the military proudly. So it's not just business for me, it is emotional to help veterans, because I think about my grandfather, and he had a Purple Heart, and he served faithfully with the military, and even to his last days he always taught us sacrifice and service, and to serve and to step up. So by us being a part of Purple Heart Homes, I think in a little way I am carrying on the legacy that he has given to us, to serve our community, to be faithful, and to do what God would have us to do. Thank you.
One of the literal where the rubber meets the road partners is the Greater Hattiesburg Home Builders Association. Without their network of home builders and contractors across the community, we quite literally would not be able to accomplish all of these projects. We've got the network through R3SM, and we've got the network of the Hattiesburg Home Builders Association with us here today as partners in this work. And we are truly thankful to Lee with Premier Homes for his work in all of this. And so I'd like to introduce him to say a few words.
Oh, goodness. Impromptu speeches. I got into this, they called and asked would we be interested in being part of it, and I was looking to try to get in and do something to help, and I can assure you, for me personally, I get more of a blessing than you guys do out of it, because these guys have sacrificed a lot more than I ever could, so enjoy.
And we want to add, from the city's perspective, our thanks to our sponsors, Greater Hattiesburg Home Builders, Home Depot, The First. want to thank League of Cities for continuing, and Purple Heart Homes for continuing to invest their vision in Hattiesburg. And I will tell you, this is one of the initiatives that actually began with the previous administration. They did the planning for this, and we've been glad to continue that, hopefully expand it with the formation of a chapter here in Hattiesburg. But thank you all for being here. I know we have several groups from members from veterans groups. Bishop Brown from Antioch, good to have you here as well. And when I think of these types of moments, I think of the word legacy. Y'all may know that yes, Mr. Perry served in Vietnam, but his father served in World War II. His grandfather served in World War I. And so military service and service to one's country and community has been a legacy for him. And I think when we invest our resources in programs for veterans housing, we are honoring that legacy. But we are also extending that legacy onto the next generation and teaching our children the value of honoring those who have served. And so I hope this is an initiative that we continue. I do want to plug the chapter formation meeting that's going to be tomorrow morning. I also want to plug the concert that's going to be at the Sanger Theater on February 9th. The Glenn Miller Orchestra will be in Hattiesburg, and proceeds from every ticket sold will go to help fund Purple Heart Homes in Hattiesburg. And so we want to make sure that we get the word out about that. But thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing us to serve you, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, as the mayor mentioned, so tomorrow morning from 8:30 to 9:30 at the Jackie Dole Sherrill Community Center there at 220 West Front Street. We'll have the chapter formation meeting. We invite you all to join us. We'll have some breakfast and coffee there for folks first thing in the morning, but we recognize that people have the rest of their day to go on and do, so just wanted to have a nice opportunity to answer folks' questions and walk through that. With that, I again want to really thank you all for coming out here. I also want to acknowledge Kristen Ray and the local Home Depot for all the work that they have done consistently throughout all of this. Your partnership really has enabled all of this to happen. They've been so kind as to donate some flowers and a flag for the Perrys today, and we're very thankful for that as well. So thank you all, and thank you all for coming out today.